Hey, my name is Casey Mackerel. I am the founder of Revampd, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about Revampd Business, which is the self-serve version of our platform. This is specifically for founders, small businesses, and agencies who wear multiple hats and want to start focusing more on the business rather than managing software. If you've ever tried to make 10 different tools work together and ended up with more chaos, higher costs, and endless setup loops, this is really built for you. Revampd Business gives you one connected system that really brings everything together. All the foundational building blocks, like your campaigns, your forms, your communication, your analytics, and more, they all just come working right out of the box. So whether you're running a local service, an online brand, or growing an agency, Revampd gives you the foundations to scale faster, stay organized, and focus on what actually is going to move your business forward. So let's go ahead and take a look at the platform. Sweet. To get started, I decided to choose a business that would be kind of relatable to anyone. I would say that you don't need a ton of domain expertise to understand how that business works. And so for this demo, I am a new gym that kind of just opened up, and I want to start launching the monthly membership, some nutrition coaching, and personal training package. So that's my high-end tier package. So the first place to start is you're going to go to your blueprints. So this is in system. You go to blueprints, and this is where you're going to define kind of your pricing. You click new offer, you name it, and then you can choose, is it one time, monthly, yearly, the amount, and then optionally, if you want to track costs so you know your profit, you can add that too. Definitions is where you create the kind of like attributes under a contact. So what are their fitness goals? You could put, birthday, and then you just choose, the date and whatever. Intelligence, I'll go more into this in like a specific video. It's not really that important right now. And then lastly is industries. This is more for B2B. So if you're creating an account, which is like an organization, and then have contacts under it, you can specify industries to track that. So yeah, let's move on to phone numbers and agents. Sweet, so this is the agents page. This is where you can go and manage your voice AI agents. Currently, we're only supporting retail, but as we go along, we'll start supporting more and more. The cool thing about this, though, is you're able to actually not only manage the agents, but manage variables on the agents. So if we go click into one, you're able to set different variables like pricing, special offer, and what this unlocks, which most voice AI softwares don't have, is the ability to use one more generic agent where you have variables, and then each campaign you can specify like the specific pricing or what's the special offer. And so this lets you have one, generic inbound agent and one generic outbound agent, and use it in every single campaign you have without having to make a agent for each one. So that's pretty cool. And then intelligence is the what you want us to extract after a call. So what attributes that you set. So in blueprints, how I was showing you definitions, you can then add this as something that you want us to extract. So this was the intelligence field I was talking about. And then you can have us overwrite it if it's confident, always keep existing, so we won't overwrite it, or always overwrite. And so then when you're in your agents, you're able to actually tell us, what questions are you going to ask and what values do you want us to fill. So that's what you put in intelligence. Then moving on to phone numbers, there's two ways to have phone numbers, and how this works is in the dialer, we rotate between the phone numbers. And so this helps reduce spam likely risk and things like that. You can either import a phone number from your retail integration, and so that if you already have phone numbers in retail and don't necessarily want to buy any through us yet, you can do that. Or if you want, you can keep your telephony managed through us. And so if you go to settings, this is where you set up your business verification to make sure you're compliant. And so the cool thing is, as we add more and more voice AI, you don't have to keep verifying your business. You can have it siloed in here, and then you'll just be able to import your numbers between the different softwares. Yeah, and so that's pretty much it on that. Phone numbers, we rotate and assign as new leads are dialed. So they'll get called by the same number to make sure it's that, my number connection. But we will always rotate and try to use a different number for each lead to reduce spam likely risk. Cool, now that we got the numbers and agents set up, let's move on to the build section. So in the build sections, there's forms and campaigns. We'll start off with campaigns because forms kind of lead into campaigns. And this is where you kind of set up your different offers and where you want to track, maybe summer shredding versus like a winter shredding campaign where you're going to have different ads and want to track like, how many leads did you get in, what was the conversion rate, how many deals did you get, and so you'll create a campaign for each. That way you know what's working and what doesn't work and repeat what's working. This tries to help you as much as we can kind of simplify and know what the best thing to do for your business is. So if we go ahead and click in one, this is where you're able to set up the campaign. So to start, we have settings. There is active and inactive. So this is for the dialer, and it'll show up on all these different tabs. If it's active, that means this allows it to dial. So if you ever want to turn it off, just set it to inactive, and we won't dial, no matter what. Then calendar policy. This is basically on a sequence. Do you want us to skip weekends or not? You can set your business hours. And then for the bookings, you can set your minimum booking notice if you don't want people to schedule within that first day or within the same day. You can set that. How long is the meeting? What type? Is it a Google Meet, phone call, in person? And then just information about it. And whether you want them to be able to reschedule or cancel. And then this is more for the voice AI part, but this is so you can see what we're going to be sending into the agent for context. And so this is what they'll see for when it goes to schedule, either in the inbound or outbound call. Moving on to the dialer section. So this is where you add the agents that you just imported from retail. So we have our inbound and outbound. And then on this is where you configure those per campaign variables. So but for this specific one, I have pricing specific to the campaign. So we have, personal training, includes 2 sessions, $99 a month, standard plan, premium plan. So the AI will have that. And so when they ask what's the pricing, it'll just use that. But for the other campaigns, like the basic gym membership, this could be completely different, but you use the same agent. You don't have to make a new one. And then this is the variable. You can just copy it and paste it right into retail, and that's exactly what we'll replace, so you don't have to worry about it. So yeah, you're able to configure that for both. There's 3 types of agents you can add on the dialer. The outbound with a voicemail, and you can configure the voicemail here. And then the inbound. And then the inbound number is kind of a different way. So instead of we're dialing out, people can dial in from a specific number. So if you have a number on flyers or you put something up on a billboard, this is the number that they would be called into, and they would be as an inbound lead from the campaign. So instead of dialing out, they're calling in. So yeah, and then you're able to, for the outbound dialer, mark if you want to leave a voicemail. You can even set double tap. So if the lead doesn't pick up, you can set how long you want to wait to double tap them. This still counts as one outbound attempt. It just double taps. And then allow transfers and allow bookings. This just lets us know that you want us to allow bookings, so we'll send in the time or the phone number that you want it to transfer to. Yep. Moving on, this is where you add your available reps. So the different reps you want on this specific campaign. Let's say maybe this campaign's better suited for newer reps because it's existing clients, so they're already interested in the product, versus others you may want, better selling reps. And then you're able to edit their availability. And this is very similar to Calendly. Like you can add blocks, so if you want to skip lunch or whatever, and then you save the settings. Business hours. So this is only for the outbound part of the dialer. Obviously, anyone could call in at any time, but this lets us know when you want us to start the dialer and stop the dialer when this is set to active. Sequences. So this is if they don't pick up, like, what do you want us to do? If you want us to call back within the same day, one stage is a day, and then you can have up to 3 calls in a day. And you choose the time blocks that you want us to call between, and we'll pick a random time so that way they're not cutting calls at the exact same time every time. So you can just add and then set another block. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, every day. You could set this to wait 8 days for the next day of calling. And then it can either inherit, so what the campaign is, business hours or regular, or you could set it specifically here. And so if it lands on a Saturday or Sunday and it's on the business mode, we'll just skip to the first Monday. And then workflows and webhooks, this is kind of post-call. This is only available on the paid plans, and this is basically lets you create actual workflows like in N8N. If it's booked, you have a router, phone number selected, and then if it's the one that you want, this is just a random automation. It doesn't actually do anything. It's just demonstration purposes. But you're able to kind of test it. Success, you're able to look at the executions, see that it went through this step, and then, what did it emit? You get to see the body JSON, so unqualified. And yeah, you can filter by, date, different statuses, things like that. So it's basically, you will be able to get away with not using make.com anymore, or your automation software. It's all in-house. And then if you're not on a paid plan, we still have webhooks, which have the same events that happen, but you'll send this to make.com or N8N or whatever you use, and you have to use that. So that's pretty much it. Analytics on the campaign we'll go over in a little bit. That's in the manage section. But let's move on to forms so you can see the last way to pipe leads into your campaigns. So forms are going to use to actually send leads into your campaigns. There's 2 types of forms you can make. This is new leads, so this is if you want them to fill out their contact info. You'll pick this. And then for existing lead, this is if they're already an account, so maybe it's just they're signing up for a time to book for a summer shred session. And so what this does is they just put in their email, we'll send them a confirmation code, and then they just have to put that in and it'll unlock the form. This way, only people who should be filling out the form can, and it's not going to waste your responses. So if we click into one, each form has versions. And so you'll be able to, if you want to update the form, feel free to make a new version without the risk of someone doing the form and it's messed up. Then when we click into it, this is very similar to if you saw the workflow builder I was showing you. All of our different workflows are off the same core builder, so you get used to that feeling. That way you don't have to relearn a different kind of software. You have your start question. This is where you can choose collect address, like if you want it to be a business email, any specific types of emails. And then this is the really cool part, is this is where you can choose if you want to gather consent, and you can put in your custom message, talk with your lawyers, whatever you need to do. But this is super important because with voice AI, it's considered robocalling. So you need opted in consent. And they're starting to go after a lot of people for this. I think it was 1,200 businesses they went after a few months ago. So this makes sure that you have opted in consent, and it always stores under that contact. So if you ever have any issues with that, you just go to the contact, show you opted in on this specific form on this question, and you'll be good to go. Then you have different questions, short text, long text, drop down, different kinds. And then on the questions, if it's a single select, multi-select, drop down, or drop down multi, so they have options, you can have routing. And so if they're interested in the gym membership, we want to go one way. If personal training, we want to go another. And if nutrition package, we want to go another. And then you have your terminal nodes, and this is where we're either going to send them to the campaign, or maybe they're unqualified, they don't fit the criteria, or maybe we just want to have a default message like thanks for filling it out. And so for this example, I just had it route to different campaigns depending on the service they're interested in. So if they're interested in a gym membership, we're sending them to the gym membership campaign. You can either queue them for a call for the dialer to call out, or you can send them directly to a scheduling page, which I'll show in a little bit. And yeah, that's pretty much it on forms. Up here's where you generate the link. Just copy this and you can put it wherever you need. You can also have a lead source. So if you want to track, like this is specifically from local partnerships, this is a link I'm going to give to people. Or maybe you want a lead source for each person that you give the link to. And you'll be able to track exactly where leads are coming from, so you can see what lead sources are returning the most ROI. Yeah, that is pretty much it. Let's move on, and I'll show you what this form actually looks like on when someone fills this out. Now that the form's all set up, let's take a look at what it actually looks like. So when a lead comes to the link, if it has a lead source, we'll be able to track exactly where they came from. So let's say this is from a Google ad, or maybe you gave this to a local vendor. You'll know exactly where every lead came from. They'll fill out their info, click the I agree, which will track the consents under their contact. This is super important. Nowadays, people are becoming a lot more strict about who contacts them. And so you don't want them to come to you and say, I didn't agree to be contacted, maybe even try to sue you. So this is super important to have, and you'll always have it under the contact and never have to worry about any issues. Press continue, and then it'll ask, whatever questions you need. So let's just say lose weight. And so that's going to save under the definition I created on that contact, so I can easily see their answer. And then I'm going to pick personal training. So this will send me to the personal training specific campaign. And then I can just go ahead, pick an available time. We'll go ahead and book it. And then I'm all set. I'm good to close this window. And if I go to my actual calendar, I'm going to see that it pops up on my Google Calendar, see the session, a little bit about the meeting so I know before I get there. And then I can actually reschedule or cancel. But the cool thing about this is we make sure that it's actually the lead who is the one rescheduling or canceling. So they will put in their email, and we'll send them a confirmation code where they have to verify. That way you're not risking like someone else doing it. That's not the actual person. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now that we got people filling out the form and going into different campaigns and scheduling, let's take a look at how you kind of view all of these different metrics. So this is under the Analytics tab. We have our lead sources. So these are the different lead sources like local partnerships, Instagram posts, Google ads, email blast. This can give you an idea of like over many campaigns. It doesn't have to be campaign specific. What is your top lead source? So if we go to local partnerships, we click into this, we can see like how many bookings are coming from forms versus how many are coming from, if we actually call them instead. So you can kind of optimize this based on the results you're seeing. Like maybe it's better to just call and send them instead of directly to the form. You can see the revenue. So this is based on the offers that we made in the beginning. And the margin is if you do cost. If you don't put cost, obviously it's just going to be 100% margin. And then lastly is funnels. So this is based on deals, which is only in self-serve and suborgs. And deals let you track like, a new lead deal to closed won or closed lost. And you can see where things are, stuff like that. Then in the specific campaigns, we can go in and see, let's see, personal training. You get to see like how many leads came in, how many did we call. This is a staging environment, so obviously these numbers are a little off, but booking rate, transfer rate, get to see your bookings, your revenue, the funnels as well. And then you can actually go in and see the leads. So this is where you can see who's queued for a call and what stage are they in, when are they queued for their next call. call in progress, who's been booked, who's been transferred, who said they're not interested, who's made it through the sequence and became unreachable, and then maybe who said do not call me. And so if they say that, we will automatically mark them and take them out of the sequence to make sure you're not going to get in trouble. And yeah, then we can move over to calendar for this specific campaign, see who's booked. See here, this is the one I just did a test of. You can easily join the Google Meet here. So I can just click this. It'll take me directly to the Meet. Then we can go ahead and check out the form submission data. I get to see, okay, came from the local partnerships. There's their contact info. They're interested in personal training and they want to lose weight. And then deals over here, this is where we can actually track new deals. So let's say I get on the call with them, and I'll make it so the test contact, they want a personal training package. We'll go ahead and create the deal. That'll show up here, and then we're actually able to just go ahead and let's put it to closed won. When this happens, we'll automatically mark this lead as a contact instead. And so, yeah. So this is where you can go ahead and see your analytics on your different offers. Again, offers is for self-serve and suborgs only because they currently can't bill through the platform. They can only kind of mirror what they're charging outside of it and then track it through deals. More to come on that though. Pretty soon, everyone will be able to bill through the platform. But let's say we click into this personal training package. You'll be able to see the analytics over it. So like total revenue, total profit, how many subscriptions. So if it's like you chose a monthly or annually, not a one-time charge, you'll see the subscriptions and your MRR. You'll see deals by stage and whether they were an upsell or a primary. So this is really good to know because you want to see what offers are better served as kind of an add-on versus those that are good primary offers. Same thing with revenue split. And then you can see what or how many deals were actually conversions. So not just like an existing customer buying again, but did the offer convert this lead to a customer? Because that's really important. You want to know what deals to show up front versus an upsell later on in the customer journey. And then lastly is the stage breakdown. So this is where you get to see like where deals are, how many are in each stage, and whether they're primary or upsells. Yeah, that's pretty much it on offers. So forms is the last spot on analytics. This is where you get to see the actual responses to each of your forms. And it's segmented per version. So you can, A/B test different forms. If we go here, you can filter by like the date, custom date range, things like that. And then this is where you can actually see the responses. And you're able to see the lead that was attached to it. You can click view, that'll take you to the lead. The booking that was created with it. If you have the consent check mark on, then you'll be able to see the consents gathered, like the specific step, the run, what was the scope. If they didn't type their name, you wouldn't see this, that's why it's empty. For attributions, you get to see, okay, this came from the local partnership lead source. And then you can just look through the answers. So now, before I meet with this person, I know that they're interested in the personal training and they're looking to lose weight. Yeah, so that's pretty much everything on forms. Now let's take a look at what a contact is. So a contact can either be a new lead or it can be a customer. And so that's kind of defined, have they bought something from you? Now that we will automatically set them to converted if you put a deal to closed won. And for deals, that is only for self-serve and suborgs, since you guys can't charge through the platform yet. But yeah, so attributes, this is where we store the definitions we create, and then we apply the specific attribute for that definition. And so you can map these in the forms So we automatically fill it out when they answer the question. If you map it to an attribute, then we'll fill it out. Call responses is if you're using the dialer, we'll log every call. If it's a voicemail or if it reaches them, we'll log it here. Bookings, so this is their bookings across the customer journey. You can create a new booking, let's say, and you can either schedule it to a campaign. So let's say this is specifically, it's for existing customers, but you're running a campaign for an upsell to a new package that you just rolled out. Or maybe it's a customer service call and you want to schedule it to a connect event. And so this is where it doesn't have to be attached to a campaign at all. And then we can, nutritional consultation, 30-minute sync, press next. We'll schedule them for 12 p.m., let's say. So that'll come up right here. You can also reschedule very easily if, you wanted to change that. And then if you click into here, you have the option to mark as a no-show or mark as completed if you want to do that. And when you mark as completed, you can add a recording URL to track that as well as any notes. So let's just say meeting went great, he signed up. We'll confirm and save. And so this will set it as completed, and we'll be able to see that as a touch point here, that we had the meeting, and it'll put the meeting title, and if there's a description of the meeting and any notes. And the recording URL would go right here. And so touch points is whether they filled out a form, and we'll automatically create a summary based on the questions and answers. Or maybe it was a call from the dialer, a video meeting, and yeah, you have your notes here. Notes is just generic information about a customer that you might want to have as context if someone new comes on, so they can quickly read up and have all the information they need. We have deals, and so deals are, like I said, for self-serve and subworks only, so you can kind of track your offers and how much money you're making, even though you can't charge through the platform yet. And so over here, we have the closed one. You can easily see that. You can see their forms. So this was my lead intake form. I can see everything to do with it, the booking, any consents that I agreed to there, and the answers. And then lastly, this stores the consents over the customer journey. So you can easily see and make sure, they've consented to be emailed, called, SMS. And if anyone tries to say that they didn't, you'll have it here for reference. Now let's take a look at the communication part of the platform. So this is on paid plans only, but when you come under communication, there's kind of two different spots. Hubs, this is kind of your different departments where you can segment out like sales, customer service, marketing, and then they each get their own internal chat. So you can easily ask questions and just keep track of the thread. You can have like a thread under a message similar to Slack, or reply with like a reaction. Then in notes, this is where you guys can have shared notes like for internal processes. So, when a new hire comes on, they can easily go through and click in here, see, okay, this is how I qualify and do lead intakes. And then lastly, if you are the admin, so if you create the hub, you'll be the admin, so you can't be removed. And then you can choose to add users. They can be a member or an admin. And so admins will see this user tab and members won't. And again, no one can remove the owner of the hub. Then the other type of communication is messages. So this is just normal DMs. You can have like just two people, or you can create a group chat. And it's the same field, the same messaging field. You can reply under here, react, send attachments, and like see all your attachments in one spot right here. And then to create a new thread, you can just select new people. You can start, it'll say start a new chat, or if it like this specific chat already exists, like there's already one with those people in it, it'll say navigate, and then it'll take you to that chat so you can chat with it. Yeah, more to come on hubs. I really want to have this be a place where a team can like have tasks and notes and documents, and you can really put all of you can run your department out of your hub. Yeah. I just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of notifications. So if we go up here in the bell icon, this is where you're going to get all of your notifications for like new lead added, new message received. If you're somewhere else in the platform, like let's say I'm kind of using forms and someone sends me a message, it's going to pop up in real time right here. So you can just click, it'll take you to it, and then it can also just open you straight to the thread to be able to reply, which you can see here. And I could just easily go, hey, what's up? That way you're always up to date, you always see messages come through. And yeah, you'll see DM messages, and then you'll also see like hub messages come through. Anything with like new accounts, new leads, affiliate payouts. So if I'll tell you about this in the next section, but if you refer someone and they sign up and get a paid plan, you'll get a notification that you got a payout. Yeah, so this kind of keeps you up to date at all times. Okay, so the last thing to show you guys is connections. Connections are how you're linked to other organizations. So everyone has a connection to Revampd, obviously, because you're all using the platform. Suborgs will also have a connection to their partner, so the person that gave them access to the platform. When you go into view a connection, this is where you can see your plan. Now, suborgs, you'll have a little different view, which I'll show in the partner video that I'm going to do in a little bit. You'll be able to see your platform add-ons, though. So this is where your phone numbers are. You can easily see that. Any tickets, so like if you're having issues, you can submit a ticket here, let us know, and we'll be able to chat back and forth with you. And you will get notifications anytime there's an update in status, so you can easily see that. Invoices is where all your invoices are. You'll see the exact details, who's billing you, what you're getting billed for. Over here you can see it's phone number credit. And then you have your wallet, so this is for any credits, and you can use these towards any invoices billed specifically by us. And so for suborgs, like you wouldn't be able to use these credits in the wallet for your partner connection. You can only use it for the connection with Revampd. And the way you get credits is by referring other people to the platform. We'll actually pay you 20% of their subscription for the year. You'll get it here, and then you'll be able to either choose to pay it out to your bank account using Stripe Connect if that's connected, or you can just credit it to your account and put it towards your subscription until it's basically free and you can use the platform as much as you want. So that's the complete overview of the platform for Revampd Business, the self-serve version. If you guys made it through this entire video, thank you so much. It means a lot. I am going to be kind of cutting these up into smaller bits as well, so we can have just more micro learnings, and I'll be putting these on School, so if you join that, you can easily reference back to them. Yeah, so please go try out the platform. It's free. There's no reason not to, and I really think this should help streamline a lot of things in your business and help you focus on really just growing it rather than, contemplating on what softwares to use. How should I do this? Oh, this is going to be expensive. How many users can I buy for this specific software? Yeah, let us know. Join School. Let us know if you need anything. And I'm looking forward to see what you guys do with the platform.